कर दिया है कि हम कार सेवा करें।
आपको कैसे पता कि राम लल्ला वहीं पर पैदा हुए थे?
नहीं तो पाकिस्तान में पैदा हुए थे।
All the Hindus are attached to Ayodhya, right? In our scriptures, और हम जानते हैं कि उस जगह कितनी वैल्यू है। अब उसका हिस्टोरिक रेफरेंस जब हम निकालते हैं 1528 से उसके आगे तक, तो उसमें हमें बहुत सारे की इवेंट्स थे जिससे बहुत सारे इवन मुस्लिम्स इवन हिंदूज बहुत सारे दोनों जो पक्ष हैं वो से एग्री करेंगे।
Babri Masjid was constructed in 1528 by Mir Baqi. He was the general of Babur. Okay. Then in 1949, it was the first time an idol was found inside the premises. Correct. And in 1992, it was demolished. But in between the period, there have been tensions between the two communities, as we all know. So it happened in first time. This broke out in 1853. That people started arguing and questioning and saying that this particular mosque, Babri Masjid, is built over a temple that was demolished before. Correct. This was in 1853. And then in 1859, because it went on. It's not like someday fights happen and then people try to cool it down. Then again it happens. So this escalated. In 1859, when it escalated a lot, Britishers interfered into it.
Yep.
They actually said that, look, do not fight among yourselves, because उनको भी कोई interest नहीं था India की politics में, Indian के communal tensions में. But the thing is, it became difficult for them to govern and to rule. So they offered a solution that just do not fight among yourself. And it was not a suggestion. It was a proper order, like a suggestion in form of an order with the tone of it. That you have to adjust with whatever we divided it to. So the outer area was given to Hindus for praying. The inner premises was the Babri Masjid, where the Muslims continued to offer namaz. Yeah. That was settlement done by Britishers in 1859. So in 1885, it was the first time that one personality, Mahant Raghuvar Das, he went to the court and he did not want the possession of the land. He did not claim anything. He just wanted to construct the roof, because there was a area where Chabutra is there, the Ram, where it is believed that Ram played there. So there only Hindus played. So Raghuvar Das wanted that we won the right to at least construct a roof there. So because weather conditions are there and we cannot pray like that every day. Heat is there, weather conditions are there. So this was the first time this matter went to court in India. This was the very first time in 1885. And then since then, these things have had some kind of communal tensions. Then in 1986, it was like after that, even in 1954, 1950, 1959 and 1961, all of them, Muslims also, and then this Nirmohi Akhara also, then Raghubar Das himself kept on fighting in courts for the possession of the land. In 1986, Faizabad High Court judgment came. They said that yes, the court allowed the Hindus to pray in the area, even in where the idol was there. So this angered the Muslims for very obvious reasons, because they believe it to be the Babri Masjid. Then 1986, that same year, then case filed for the full possession. Like first they were arguing, this area is, the inner area is ours, the outer area is theirs and all that. But there was a group about Ram Lala Virajman. They were the ones who actually filed it in 1986 and said that we want the full possession. We do not care. That inner area, outer area, we do not want to get into it. This is the place of Ram Janma Bhoomi. It is Ram Janma Bhoomi and we want it all for ourselves. So you have three people here. You have Raghuvar Das, who was fighting, Nirmohi Akhara, who were also fighting. Nirmohi Akhara was fighting for the inner premises where the idol was found.
Okay.
Then you have this Ram Lalla Virajman group, who are not into inner outer. They just want the full possession of it. Just kept on going. Okay, in 1986 is what fine. And we all know that Rath Yatra which Advani did from Somnath in Gujarat to Ayodhya in UP. This escalated the tensions and the riots in the country increased. And then later on, he was arrested for the same, that he was the one to incite it. At that point of time, in UP, Kalyan Singh government was there. He said, like, to hell with all the judgments before and all the cases filed and whatever the dispute or the belief is, we are taking control of the premises again. Like first it was taken, the control was taken in 1949 after the idol was found there and the riots broke out. Like the kind of communal tensions increased, right, at that time. And the second time here again they said that fuck it, we are going to take control again and it will be banned for both of them. No praying there.
Correct.
This happened. And then we all know 6 December 1992, Kar Sevaks went there and demolished the Babri Masjid. And this particular incident had its aftermath till date. And at that particular time, the riots broke out across India. We also know how it happened with like even in Gujarat and rest of the parts of the country, especially in UP. Riots broke out everywhere. And the communal tensions increased. On 16 December, the same year, this Liberhan Commission or committee was formed. And this was responsible to inquire about it. So I don't think there is any major contribution from this committee, but this was actually formed regarding the inquiry in the whole issue. So that is just one of the points to be noted. At that point of time, central government in charge was Narasimha Rao, and actually admire that person a lot. And he proposed a solution that do not fight among yourselves. Have a temple there, have a mosque there, and have a library there, and have a national museum there. Just divide it like that and end it altogether. But yes, people wanted the possession, so none of them agreed to this. Then in 2002, Atal Bihari Vajpayee government came. Ayodhya Vibhag करके एक group बनवाया उन्होंने, like a kind of a dedicated group or committee, you can say, that was responsible to settle the dispute between the Hindus and the Muslims in this Ayodhya case. In the same year, in April, HC bench was formed. Allahabad High Court ki bench was formed, and they ordered the Archaeological Survey of India to give them submit a report of what is the reality of the whole situation, because obviously the judgment can be made only on the grounds of evidences, not on the grounds of hearsay, that if someone believes कि यहाँ पे राम लला थे तो हम कर देंगे, नहीं. So Archaeological Survey of India was directed to investigate the matter. Okay. This particular case went on for like 8 years. In 2010, September 2010, Ram Murthy Path, this was Allahabad's judgment, okay, High Court judgment, that Ram Murthy Path, where the idol was actually found, that was to be given to the Ram Lalla Virajman group. The Nirmohi Akhara was to be getting the Chabutra area, where which we call the Sita Rasoi, where the Ram Lalla paid. They were given that area, and the remaining part was to be given to the Sunni Waqf Board. These were the three people who were actually involved in the case. Okay, so this was the order, and you will see later that in none of the court judgments this finding of the ASI has been dismissed. Nowhere it has been dismissed. Okay. This is the whole point that I'm trying to make here. But because of the rising communal tensions between the two communities, Supreme Court must have thought that let's hold this decision and review it again. So in May 2011, SC puts a hold on the Supreme Court puts a hold on the HC decision that was taken by the Allahabad High Court, And since then, there were multiple petitions and all that, and the matter did not get a chance for proper hearing or survey. But in 2016, Subramaniam Swamy finally filed a case in Supreme Court to finalize this whole thing. Like, ab latkao mat please. You have to give a solution. This has been it has been going on since 1885. This was the first time. That was only for the roof. Even that was not met in proper time.
Correct.
After that, in 1950s and 1960s, cases were actually filed in the courts by all the parties, the Muslim parties and the Hindu parties. Vishwa Hindu Parishad was also a group there, which was fighting for the cause of it. But this was delayed for some or the other reasons and the rising communal tension. But Subramaniam Swamy decided that he wants victory here. So he filed a case. In March 2017, then for the particular hearing of this particular case, there was Chief Justice of India, K.S. Kher. He suggested that do not bring it to the court. Because whenever anyone comes to the court, there will be a party who will be losing in this. And there will be disagreement, and the Supreme Court was like, this is an inference that I am drawing. It's not said by CJI. This is not, because it is always like that. One of the party will always be disappointed with it, and they will feel like they have been denied the right to practice their faith.
Correct.
In that particular area. So he suggested making a settlement out of the court. Do not bring it to the court. But then again, in the same year, by the end of the 2017, when was this said by CGI? In March. By the end of the year, December 2017, there were 32 PILs against the High Court judgment. Now, this was not going outside the court. It has to be dealt with inside the court. In 2019, as we know, the SC judgment came. Ranjan Gogoi was also there in the bench, and Chandrachud was also there. So this was the 5 judges bench, I guess. So this judgment came. These are the points that have to be noted, especially by our Muslim viewers, that you have not read it properly. If the ownership cannot be decided based on what people say, that is why this has been delaying for some or the other reason. Also, outer areas have always been, since the time Britishers divided it between the Hindus and the Muslims, the outer area has been believed to be the place given to the Hindus, and they have continued to pray there until the ban came in 1949. And similarly, inside the masjid premises, Muslims have prayed for 400 years, right? So it is their belief also. So Supreme Court of India cannot deny the right to pray and the right to believe and have faith. So they decided to divide the land. The 2.77 acre was given to Ram Lalla Virajman group, and the 5 acre was given to the Muslims to construct their own mosque. So that right to worship is given to both.
Yeah.
Right. Here, one thing was, again, I'm saying that none of the court judgments, none of the judges have said the ASI findings were not true. I will tell you what were the ASI findings. When the excavation again happened and the report was submitted, the 50 pillars were excavated and all the 50 pillars were non-Islamic structures.
Correct.
Yeah, right? And that proved that this is a very typical thing that in most of the mosques, if you have seen, I'm claiming this, but there are many authors and archaeologists who will claim this. Most of the mosques have been built over the broken temples using the material of that broken temple. And similar was the case was with Babri Masjid. KK Muhammad had a very, very significant role to play in this, and the whole issue with the archaeological survey and all that started with him when he was in the team. And it was in 1976, a team of the issue was not of Hindu-Muslim. They just went there for the cultural timeline and studying the cultural timeline of that particular place. KK Muhammad was the only Muslim participant of that particular excavation. And it was led by Professor B.B. Lal. Okay. Then when they were not allowed to excavate inside the mosque because it was still active. But only in 1991 it was again banned. Remember, this was happening in 1976 when KK Muhammad and BB Lal team went there. There was a lot of researchers along with them. So they went there and they excavated the western outer part of it, the western part of the outer push. They excavated that place. They found 12 pillars that were non-Islamic and they were engraved with kalash, what do we call it? We call it the embodiment of Ganesha or Gauri, the Purna Kalash or the Mangal Kalash engraved on it.
Yeah.
And then you can ask them that how do they know that it is a temple structure? Well, they are trained archaeologists and they will be able to tell you if it is a Jahangiri period, from Jahangiri period, or it is from the Mughal period, or it is from the Chalukya period. They will be able to tell you. So they have some kind of intricacies, we can say, of being an archaeologist and they have expertise in that particular subject, and they were convinced that this particular mosque, the so-called Babri Masjid, was built over a temple. And this was just the outer area which was demolished, and they found it. Then further they also found the terracotta idols, the figurines of Hindu gods and goddesses in the same place. This cannot be possible if the mosque was built originally on a vacant land. You will not find such structures there. There was evidence of demolishing a pre-existing Hindu architecture.
All right.
Hindu structure. You can, if you do not want to call it temple, that is even in the later judgment that came in 2019, there was mention of the temple, but they were convinced that a non-Islamic structure stood before before Babri Masjid was came into the picture. They were convinced with that. Now it is up to the archaeologists to call it a temple or call it just another Hindu architecture. But the point is, KK Muhammad was convinced, and when at that point of time there were arguments again started. They were in 1976, nothing much was there, but in later years, in 80s and 90s, this thing escalated. Some of the Marxist historians used this particular excavation exercise of B.B. Lal, and they pointed out that he is the one who has found out that there is no evidence of temple in Babri Masjid.
Okay.
Just opposite of what he found out. And just because of this, they did not highlight that what did they found and what did they not, because they were not interested in highlighting all these points. This was not their motive. But because of the Marxist historians doing a press conference, sitting in a very cozy room, not even going to the site, not even taking the pain of actually studying the architecture of the place, not even taking the direct advice or the direct findings from the archaeologists themselves, they just did a press conference. In response to that, B.B. Lal was compelled to give out a statement. And he said that no, we have found enough evidences that prove that Hindu structure was there before the Babri Masjid came into the picture. And we can also tell you the date of it. It was 12th century. They belong to the 12th century, and it was way before Babri Masjid was even constructed, right? KK Muhammad at that time was posted in Madras, and as a government official, he was not supposed to give out any statement. Like, it is a code of conduct that you do not give out a statement. You are a part of the government, right? You do not create such a communal violence and chaos and escalate the issue or cause controversy of any kind. So he was not supposed to do that, but he thought that because he was the only Muslim participant in the whole exercise, it is his moral responsibility to come out with the truth. And I so admire him for that. No one will do that. He even till date, if you take his interview in 2021, he will just say the same things that he said at that point of time. And he calls Babri Masjid so-called Babri Masjid because he was so convinced that yes, the this place was before a non-Islamic structure. And then again, there were multiple excavations of the same place. One team is saying that yes, there is presence, there is evidence. Another team is saying no, there is not. Then there happens the third excavation, which was the final one. This was done by B.R. Money. He was the former director of the National Museum and has been working in the Archaeological Survey of India also as a very profound archaeologist. When he excavated, he found more than 50 pillar bases with the same kind of Purna Kalash engraved on them, and proving that it was a much larger temple. It was not just some ordinary temple. It was a much larger temple. Concluding here, I just want to point out, in the arguments when you say that Muslims just gave away this, and it was tolerant of them to not do anything after giving it away. So this is not a point that they can actually make. Because we have fought it in court, we have fought it outside court, we have the archaeological survey done without the intent of actually finding it out. This was a completely non-related exercise done in 1976 by KK Mohammed and Bibi Lal. They were not interested in finding out anything. They did not even release or highlight the points and the evidence that they found. It was only later when press conference happened and he was misquoted, he replied back.
Correct.
So we have so many ground reports of the same thing. Also, if you talk from point of view of belief, that Subramaniam Swami claims that if he thinks that my belief is that Ram Lala was born on that particular Bhumi, then yes, it is, because that's how the belief system works. You only believe, that Asmani Patthar has some kind of a power. That is why you do round and round when you go to Makkah Medina, and that particular place has some kind of reverence and some kind of energy or respect in your heart because of the same reason, because so many Muslims believe it to be. And if we have found the evidence that yes, in the very Ayodhya, our pilgrimage site, the very place of Ram Janma, that we call the king, our own Ram Lord was there as a king. Obviously, it is our pilgrimage site. Same as with Kashi and Mathura. But those are again the similar kind of issues, and these are the areas that actually have suffered a lot of Islamic iconoclasm. And the ones who want to deny it have not read enough. And if you actually suggest them books on it, they will simply say that you just read a half of it or a full of it or take it out of context and say, okay, then you read it and you decide what is true or not. But just do not come at others claiming that it was a very tolerant process and it was a very generous thing that you accepted. We gave you 5 acres of land and we only took 2.7 acres. We were definitely not interested in the land. We were interested in our pilgrimage site being restored. So that is the point that I want to make. And the whole timeline and the whole court case judgment proved one thing, that ASI was not wrong. They did not use, in the later judgment also, they did not say it was a temple broken by the Mughals. They did not use that term. But on the basis of belief and on the basis of the findings of the ASI, they decided that okay, that 2.77 acre has to be given to the Hindus.